What's up, everybody? I hope you're having a good Wednesday. There we are. Look at that. There it is. Hmm. Okay. So Mads worked in the criminal underworld prior to winding up in an alley with the Whispering Lotus on their person and the visions of the goddess that they know nothing about. So my plan, long term, mm, feels very dangerous to be writing this on here. You know what? You know what? This might. The very detail-y bits we probably will lay off. I think it's probably better that way. That I'll keep to myself. And it won't be on stream. Since it's campaign specific and not broad. But broadly, we can work because I already have a plan for this bit. And it's not overwhelmingly important. Is shade fruit or the fruit of life. So these are the face fruit that Pyre has seeds for and the dried fruit of it. These originate from Etheria. And during the shattering, the seeds and fruit were blasted. If I could spell, that'd be great. Blasted far and wide, much landing. I don't know what we've called that, so we're gonna call it Region 4 because it's the Asian influenced region just above the archipelago. Seeds fruit, much of it was blasted, landing in Region 4, growing weakly, but still enough to bear fruit. These fruits eventually could no longer procreate. There was an entire ordeal that we talked about somewhere here. So we talked about previously in Region 4, there's herds of gargantuan pandas that once roamed the land. They were hunted for pelts to extinction. Hence, pelts. Welcome in, everyone. Uh, looks like you slayed the dragon. Or at least you managed to take it down after a very brutal combat. Okay, so with this in mind, if herds of gargantuan pandas roamed the land of Faegrimm, and they roamed primarily, we had this conversation, it just wasn't written down, primarily from region 4 to region 1, um, as like as a migration route, I guess maybe. They carried the shade fruit seed to region 1. Where the local snackubi population managed to get it to grow, and it now grows healthily there. Yeah, all right. Okay. So with that in mind, let's bring that out a little bit. So these originate from Etheria. During the shattering, the seeds and fruit were blasted far and wide, much landing in region 4, growing weakly due to the excrement from the giant omnivorous pandas. But still enough to bear fruit. These fruits eventually could no longer procreate after the extinction of the gargantuan pandas. In region 4. Prince of Guardians, Rome the Fan. Yeah, okay. So originates from Etheria. Okay, we've got some information going here. This is looking good. What snack fruit? Snacky by population managed to get it to grow, and it now grows healthily there. Where was I going with this thought process? Oh, right. Yeah, no, okay. We're on board. My brain was definitely distracted. So now that we know how it got there, these fruits are the dried fruit and seeds that Pyre carries with her. So Pyre's goal is to find a place where she can settle down and grow the fruit that she very much enjoys. Outside of that, I'm not really sure necessarily um what goals she has in mind. I'm gonna pull up her sheet. She has so much backstory. It's so nice, honestly. I appreciate it when there's lots of backstory for me to pull on. So, rereading this now that I'm not trying to write it up from nothing, like the whole storyline here, actually this is a pretty nice bit. So the takeaway bits and pieces here, which are helpful for story building. Actually, I need to move this over. Hi, what's up, Pancake? Hope you're having a good Wednesday. I am rereading some character backstory as I'm kind of working out a little bit more reason for why a character is doing something they're doing. Which I can give you that rundown if you're interested. But it's pretty much here. But yeah, how's your Wednesday going? You got anything crazy going on today? Character backstory. It's a big backstory too. I just cliff note it for you. Actually, I could also put the character on screen for you. Let me, let me. Where is OBS? Hang on. Ha ha ha! I found it. Okay. This one. Nah, I just lost your voice. That's no good. We'll put her up here. How'd you do that? Yell too loud at a concert, or unfortunately get sick? And then for the character bits here. So this is Pyrie. She's like a 220 something year old Eladrin. She grew up with a variation of succubi called snackubi, in a different region, not the one she's in now, because my homebrew world has five main regions, and each campaign takes place in a region. So she comes from a different region than the one she's playing her campaign in, for story reasons. I was in a roast battle. I won though. Hell yeah. That is excellent. Hang on, wait. I got you. I got you. Let's let's give it up. Let's give it up for Pancake. I hope you heard the claps. Where was I go? My brain is very one track today. Oh boy. Right, Pyrie. So grew up with Snackubi, and there is a fruit known as the fruit of life or shade fruit, depending on where you come from. It's grown. It has to be grown using the remains of humanoids as like the mulch, fertilizer, or whatever, and then it takes the fruit instead of growing in like a sphere or whatever, like a pear shape or an apple shape. It kind of grows like as if it's an apple, but it has the face of a person on it, and it's always the face of a person that was used in the mulch. Um, they're incredibly delicious, and there's no like spooky weirdness outside of the fact that they just look like people. But they are like a delicacy. They are super rare because they can only be grown using that sort of fertilizer. And most of the people who consume them do not know that is how they are grown. There's an entire storyline for that uh, in the other region. But for her, it's not weird at all. For Pyrie, it's not weird at all. So anyway, she was chased out. Um, she was chased out by a local cult, which helps with the growing, which is its own thing. who has a bounty on her. The bounty technically is still active, which I think I'd like to touch on because I think that could be a lot of fun. Um, there's a bounty on her because why is there a bounty on her? Hang on. Okay. So so she essentially likes to have clean animal bones. Like she had a pet. She had an owlbear that she loved, which died, and she used bugs to clean small creatures' bones using natural means, etc., etc. The bugs got out of hand, and they ravaged the city's or the town's fertilizer supply, which was all the people, all the dead people, I suppose, causing massive issues and a shortage for the season's crops. Which is when the cult leaders issued uh, a bounty on her. That was also about 100 years ago, but the bounty is still technically active. So, I think it'd be kind of neat if eventually, I'm gonna start writing this down. Cult member from Region 1, I can't remember what they're called. I think it was the Cult of E. That's all I remember. Cult member from Cult of E is working somewhere in the Echoing Isles. I put Pyrie on the screen because I'm working on some backstory stuff for her. I suppose she doesn't need to be on there anymore. I was showing Pancake, but where is? Whoop, there we go. But it's going to be a very entertaining backstory bit there. She's basically going to have a little bounty hunter at some point. Whenever she's found to be there by the Cult of E, they'll send out bounty hunters on her, and that'll be something they have to deal with, which is going to be very entertaining. So, cult members from the Cult of E is working somewhere in the Echoing Isles. Eventually, comes across Pyrie, who is probably munching on or learning more about the fruit, the shade fruit, and proceeds to attempt to either cash in on the bounty or relay that information to Cult of E. Oh, actually, this gets really interesting. This gets really okay. So the entire point Pyrie has, Pyrie's entire purpose currently, is she wants to somewhere she could put down roots and start growing the fruit on her own because she knows how. She's been doing it for 100 years, more than 100 years, 200 years. So she's very familiar with how it works and what you need and all that stuff. So she needs a place where she can, one, kind of start her own cult or use humanoids that are maybe not as smart or sentient or something in the fruit itself, like as the mulch. However, shade fruit's incredibly expensive because of its rareness, right? So Juniperville would probably be pretty rich. No, not Juniperville. That's not accurate. The cult of E, would be quite powerful due to shade fruit only being grown in one place by them. So any sort of competitor would be seen as a threat to not only their profits, but to their entire way of life because of the way that they do the fruits gets out in the larger scheme of things, people probably wouldn't eat them. So, boy, this is getting intricate. Okay. All right. Okay. Hang on. Cult is rich because shade fruit expensive. Colt does not like competition and removes anyone and anything that threatens threat threatens their profits. Pyrie wants to grow her own fruit and is therefore a threat to the cult. The cult now is sending well, it was already sending, but is now sending bounty hunters and members of the cult itself to dispose of her and hello. I'm gonna scroll upwards now. Hi, Snack. How's it going? How's the office? We were just talking about you. Don't worry about it. Nope, nope, nope. Don't worry about it. Nope. Don't worry about it. We don't need to talk about that. I was plotting some future storyline stuff for you. I need this to light up. It's gonna bother me. There we go. Yeah, but I'm gonna switch over to Shy now. Because I've got a whole plan for you, and I'm very happy about it. Hi, what's up, Hoy? Hoy and Snack, I hope you guys are having a good Wednesday. How's the brewing going? The brewing's going good, man. The brain juices are going. I planned out future fun things for Pyrie. So right now we're doing here, I'll show you Pyrie. Pyrie. It does not directly involve your questions. Although I do want to plan those at some point. What are you making? Welcome in, engineer. I hope you're having a good Wednesday. The dragons, they come around eventually. It's a bit early for level 3 people to be fighting dragons. Instead, we have gargantuan pandas that we were talking about earlier. Back in the barn. I was gonna say something. What am I making? So I am, if you hadn't seen it, guys, on Monday, we did our first session of the professional campaign, The Echoing Isles, which involves a couple of my streamer friends. They're very wonderful. One of them is on screen now, and you can find them at the snack. Here, wait, let's do this. Bam! Look at that. So one of them is Snagibus, who is in chat right now. So say hi to Snag. Hi, Snag. Um, so yeah, a couple of streamers playing one of my professional campaigns. We had our first session on Monday, and we are. I'm cleaning up a little bit before the next session, which is this upcoming Monday. And I'm trying to plan out a little bit more of the long-term story because I do have an end in mind already. It's just the adventure, the journey of getting there. That's the really important stuff for me. Like I love the journey along the way. The end is its own thing and it's great, but like anyway. Um so the next one, actually I could just change this over real quick. Hang on. The next one we're going to talk about here is Mads. Since we have Snack in here, I don't want to touch on Snack stuff, which isn't an issue because I was already going to switch over. We're going to talk about Mads. So Mads is played by my friend Shyness. She is another streamer, super fun, does a lot of Overwatch and Genshin and stuff like that. I would do a shout out, but I think it's too soon to do another shout out, so I'll do it in a minute. But backstory stuff. Shit, here we go again. Yeah, that's part of the main story. Actually, I got the entirety of the storyline figured out for that. You know what? Hang on. Boy, I wanna let me. We're just gonna zoom out. Look at all these notes, guys. Look at them. There's so many. Anyway. Oh God. I think I'm gonna need to remove some of the 4K imagery because it's choppy. So yeah, I wrote up all the detail here. I'll pretend I can see that on my phone. Well, when you zoom out enough, it just takes away the text and puts big lines on it. But like, it's a lot. I'm very happy with it. Um, what have they done? Are players not normally depression pro? Decian? Paralyze. Decian? Decision paralyze. Decision? Decision. Decision paralyze? Hoy! You might have to retry that one. My brain can't comprehend. Decision paralysis. 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 Uh, no, they haven't really been too paralyzed, actually. Yeah, buddy. I'm doing okay, I promise. No, they've been moving pretty well, actually. At least for the first session. Where is my OBS? I want to show you guys some stuff. I'm really excited to start sharing things. Not start, but like, you know. Okay. Let me. Oh, that's real big. Hang on. Okay. 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 So, a little bit. There we go. Anyway, we got the main map. So storyline that I've already explained to the players, and I won't be breaking any. I won't be revealing information that is not already known. So Region 5, at one time, so legends say, was once one big continent. And it had a mountain called Skyreach Summit, which was so tall it touched the heavens themselves. But an ancient conflict over 1,000 years ago, caused the entirety of the continent to break apart. The mountain shattered and everything sunk into the sea with the exception of the mountain that has shattered, and that's what is the islands in the archipelago today. Those dungeons sure had dragons in them. They sure did. Who knows? Maybe dragons were utilized in the large destructive force. So with that in mind, now there is the entire sea that these islands are in, called the Broken Tide, where the Echoing Isles reside. The players Right there in Lower Haven is where they are currently at. There's so many things over thousands of years ago in general fiction. It's because then you can have ancient ruins or like mysterious things or I mean it's pretty helpful. It's just a large block of time that is unaccounted for. So you could really say anything happened in that time, even if you make it up later. You could be like, "Oh yeah, that was 500 years ago." Looks around. I forgot why I was telling this story, but that's fine. I'm having a fun time. So anyway, the players are starting there. Um, and then yeah, we have the. I gotta make it smaller now. Hang on. So we have the whole map all figured out now, which is super exciting. Throw 1,000 years against lower wall, see if it sticks. Initially, I started much sooner. I started with like a couple 100 years because I felt like that was a little more viable, right? But no, no, it just wasn't enough time. Not for so like there's been a lot of changes to society in the Echoing Isles. Um, might be getting into some details there, but yeah, there's been a lot of changes to society since the shattering, or since the big calamity thing that happened, right? Because we need to make the world interesting and mysterious. Fantasy writing 101. Truly. Truly, it is. I really didn't want to go a couple thousand years, but it was the only thing that made sense. Long enough that even elf druids only know of it through tales. Yes. The other reason I shot for over 1,000 years specifically is since Faegrimm is made up of multiple regions, I didn't want to build out the like lore here. 200 years ago there was this huge calamitous event and then start working on region 3 or something, and that doesn't add up. It doesn't make sense. I have to incorporate it. Like, I wanted to give myself a lot of buffer space. Oh, by the way, you guys like my little guy, my little fella, my new dude? He blinks things to snag. But I got this one done just for the Echoey Isles campaign. You're my little guy. I'm trying to make a D&D inspired book, but I lost track, and now it's very much D&D with anime element. I mean, let's be honest here. If you're a monk, you're D&D with anime elements. Did you get the full sheet back? Oh, I did. I did get it back. I liked the changes. I had one adjustment to make the gold on the full sheet one. I wanted the gold a little less bright. That was it. Otherwise, it's done. So I'm pretty excited about it. Player, can I have an elf druid near the end of his life? And DM says, okay, but why? Player, now I have an in-lore reason why he knows of dinosaurs. Uh, all right, like, feed it to me when done, please. You got it. I have to feed it over to Burton too, because he's been pining for it. Um, so dinosaurs are neat because I want to add that. I think I'm gonna probably add it to like either region 3 or 4. And 3 is a desert with like a little Greek island, and 4 is Asian inspired. So bamboo, forests and like really misty areas, places that haven't inherently seen the sun in quite some time, that kind of vibe. But I also haven't really ever looked at dinosaurs as far as stat blocks go. So like I don't even know how mean they are. Like what level do you introduce that to your players at? You say this and I already have thoughts. Calm down. Your thoughts are terrifying sometimes. Like that entire line of questioning. All about the little mimicky guy. Which is super smart, but like terrifying, honestly. Between level 5 and 10, most smaller dinosaurs are around level 7 as enemies. Oh, okay. That's good information. Yeah, okay. That could probably work. Thinking more necromancy thoughts. Ooh. Yeah, your necromancy is going to be a real interesting topic of conversation when that comes up eventually. We're not quite there yet, but it's going to be real funny. Okay. So, you know, I have done a lot of this lately. Can you just let Grandma finally rest in peace? I know you love her cookies, but this is morbid. Look, no one makes cookies like Graham. Those little finger bones, they make just the right indentation to put the Hershey's little kiss in there. What do I want to look at here? I think, you know what I really think, guys? I think I have been doing way too much homework. I did a lot of this planning for this campaign as well over what was it was Sunday, I think. I got it all on paper and I was very happy with it. I kind of want to switch it up. I know I've only been doing this an hour, but I'm not going to be around for the weekend, so I'm like, I want to play some stuff. So I think I might switch up and play a pew pew game. Maybe. Next week I get back to normal though, because like the last few weeks have been a lot of craziness where like all my days have insane amounts of things to do in them. But after this week, it all gets normalized again, and I'm very excited. So I can like actually do my 2-3 hour Wednesdays, you know, because like today I have to leave slightly earlier than I would normally even in stream. But yeah, I think I will. There are no humanids being brought back. It's fine. I think that's how skeletons spell undeath doesn't say you have to see the bones you try to rise. So by the book definitions, a pile of bone could be inside a living body like a human. The spell undeath or animate dead, because that's very. I don't know undeath offhand. Okay, undeath is a domain, if you will. Yeah, animate dead cannot be used on anything alive, to be clear. I did have to look this up before. But yeah, the animate dead spell can only be used on bones or pile of bones that you can see or flesh that you can see that is considered dead. And if they in a death body, they rise as a zombie. Yeah, so once you raise them, welcome in, Bake. Once you raise them up, and they become a skeleton or a zombie or whatever, and once they die, they technically remain undead, even though they're dead again. So you can't just continually animate the same dead, quote unquote. There is an exception, a homebrewed exception to this rule, which Snackivus has because homebrew, but it's very specific. If you only saw a part of the bones, does that count? I mean, you'd have to know that the whole pile of bones is there, right? I mean, it's not like you're gonna go count every bone is there, but you'd probably be able to gauge how many bones are in a pile. If you just see like one leg bone sticking out and you try and animate dead, but there's no like the rest of the body isn't visible or isn't there, then I'd imagine you just have an animated bone, like a singular bone. But assuming that it's all part of the same body, yeah, that would. Has there a specific rule involved for grandma? No. Specific rule can only target tiny things, as I recall. Although I may need to go look that up. Guys, being a responsible human and going and working out and shit, I recommend it, but like, I'm sore. I'm tired. I don't wanna. So you could yoink out mostly buried dinos from their tombs. All right, I'm gonna go. Hang on, I gotta go look this up. Animate dead 5e. Let's read, shall we? Man, I'm getting popular. That's two fucking cheap viewer bots. Okay. To be clear, by the definition that I use, a pile of bone needs skull to function to rise as undeath. That is similar to the rules that I'm seeing here. So the spell description specifically requires a pile of bones. So you have to have at least a small pile of them to try and use it. As far as a corpse goes, it would have to be. You don't have to see the whole corpse necessarily. Can you animate half a body? I'm actually really interested. Animate dead. Half body? Question mark. Not really fossils or stone by definition. Yeah, but it's, I guess that depends on how long they've been there. Huh? That's probably a call in the moment thing. There are. Oh, here we are. Here we are. Information. Okay, so to clarify, guys, with animate dead, you have to have either a pile of bones or a body. However, in neither case do you require all of the bones or the entire body. So in theory, and this is provided DM says it's okay, which I think this would be entertaining, so I'm fine with that. You could theoretically, if someone was sliced in half, you now technically have two bodies from one person. Um, the DM could roll that as you can animate both pieces, and one can be stacked upon the other, or you can only animate one of the two pieces. So you could only animate, say, the legs, and they could run up and kick people. If you don't have enough bones, that follows up with more, like you could do like a partial skeleton, or you could animate just the shoulder to fingers on one side, so you can just like. I'm so sorry. I give us all bad ideas. Snack, look here. It is not your fault, Hoy. I need you to know that. Snackubus does some terrifying brainstorming. She had me sweating bullets last night talking about fucking mimics. And I'm literally terrified of her. Because like there's a specific type of player that thinks outside of the normal box. And she is definitely one of those players, and it is so gonna fuck me over at some point, and I'm so scared, guys. Oh. So anyway, all right. Okay. Here's what I want to do, guys. I'm gonna switch up because I want to play a pew pew game before I disappear for the day. Because I have about an hour and a half at most. And then I've got to go and do adulting because, you know, adulting. Um, so I'll probably jump to break here in a minute. I'll probably reset the stream so I don't have to cut the video later. And then I think I'm gonna probably play some Watch or something. That sounds fun. I think Ford's playing it, so I might just jump on there and co-stream. Who knows? In any case, did she use a mimic as part of the pathway as a trap? She's conniving. She's very smart and clever, and it's gonna at some point she is going to outthink me. It is not a question. It is a matter of time. But I'm excited for when that happens. Because whenever a player outthinks me, it's great. And love it. Because it's that moment where you're like, well shit. You're right, you can do that. I hate you a little bit, but that's amazing. Oh, in any case, don't go anywhere, guys. I mean, provided you want to watch some Overwatch, because that is what I'm gonna go do. But I'm gonna pop on a break. I'm gonna kill the stream. I'm gonna restart the stream. So, well, type refresh in when it's time to do the refresh. And the curse of the mimic. Every time the cursed character makes an investigation check, there's a 1x chance that the item changes into a mimic for one. Oh, that's terrifying. I'm gonna just gonna take that and I'm just gonna put that right in there. Just right in there. On that note, don't go anywhere, guys. I'm gonna switch over to the games. Break screen. Smoke bomb.